Hello, everybody. It's Graham Cofe with the first My Music of this week. Now, because it's Monday, well, it is where we are anyway. You need to be motivated, and I couldn't think of a better guest to kind of get us motivated and into the week than AlienBlaze. So we will be talking to her in a minute. But first, let's watch this video from Analog Trash, which might pump us up as well. Hope you're having a good week, everybody. Oh, trying the twist, trying the turn, just to see which way you can burn.
Well, I can see that you're sideways, so I want to be sideways as well.
Well, try it. Go on, let's try it. Let's try sideways together. Yeah, stay.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
For anybody that's listening to this, rather than watching it, Alien was one way up. Now she's twisted her phone, and now she's the other way up, and that's just the way it rolls. Alien, how is life in Alien Land? How are things going at the moment?
It's good. I'm just about to release a new single on the 22nd of August, so in like a week's time, essentially. I've literally just shot the music video for it last week, which was so much fun. I got a bunch of my friends involved. I worked with one of my favorite videographers, and I really tried to make it a very summery video. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Well, we need someone to do something summery, because where is the sun? Where is it gone? Yeah,
honestly,
exactly that.
Yeah, honestly, like when I decided to do a music video that was shot outside, I was like, oh, it'll be fine, it's summer, it'll be great. And then, as the days drew closer, I was like, oh my goodness, is it gonna be all right? And yeah, the weather actually pulled through for us, so that was nice.
It's the start of the week, and it's quite early in the morning. Are you kind of a person that gets going at the beginning of the week with full of vigor, or is it a slow burn for you? Does it take a little bit of while for you to get going?
I am, yes. I'm a very early riser.
Cool.
So yeah, I really like to get going at the start of the week and really like tackle everything that I had outstanding from Friday. So yeah, I'm very much somebody who likes to get on with things.
Excellent. So you've always been highly motivated then?
Yeah, I think so. I think it comes from a place of that, obviously, when I was 14, I was very, very sick. So I couldn't do anything for a year. I lost a lot of time, basically. Time that, I missed a lot of school. So I think that maybe it comes from that, is that I don't really like being inert. I am really bad at relaxing. I really like to just get on and, do things.
Yeah. Does the whole kind of AlienBlaze character kind of come out of all of that as well? Or do you feel like you've kind of almost transitioned away from those early years and blossomed into something new?
Yeah, I think so. I think the person that I was when I first started doing music and the person that I am now in terms of my creativity and my vision have definitely changed. I think I've learned a lot, and I think that in terms of my songwriting as well, I've definitely progressed as a songwriter, and I think I have more of a clear vision now than I ever had before.
Reading some of the stuff about you online, and I've read various bits and pieces, including the Kerrang interview, etc. People were trying to make sense of your music in terms of trying to narrow it down and go, it's a bit this, it's a bit that, and then people are even using terms like hybrid about you, which is hybrid's become a real big word in kind of everyday life, hasn't it, over the last few years? But Do you like the fact that you're kind of keeping people guessing?
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing to do now. I think that with the kind of 24-hour daylight of social media, I think that it's very hard now as an artist to be mysterious. You know, if you take artists in any other decade, whether that be the 70s or the 80s or the 90s or the 2000s, you didn't really know anything about them apart from what you saw in magazines, or, you know, there was no online world. Whereas now, you know, I feel like there's so many people doing it and so much saturation of people like, look at me doing this, look at me doing that, that you almost feel like you know everything about everyone, even though you don't really know anything.
Yeah,
So I think that it's very important to keep your mystery for sure, and really just allow some space between yourself and social media, because I think that it can feel very overwhelming sometimes.
yeah. Do you have a bit of a love-hate relationship with social media?
Yeah, I do.
What do you love about it? What do you hate about it?
I think what I love about it is, especially with streaming platforms, is that your music can be found anywhere in the world. So that was never possible before, obviously.
Yeah,
Now, you know, my music is heard in places I've never been to. It's worldwide, and that would never have been possible before. I mean, I'm signed to an American record label as well. And I think just in terms of what I don't like about social media, I think just the kind of thing now where it's kind of acting as a substitute for other things, and I think that real life should always be the most important thing.
it's
So
it's it's funny because there's a little bit of a dichotomy there in what you're saying. Because actually, but I think it's refreshing at the same time because a lot of artists these days are trying to speak through that authenticity that you were talking about, which is like,
yeah,
putting their whole life, if you like, online in order to say, look, this is me. There's no facade. This is real. All of this
yeah,
sort of thing, and it's kind of that whole social selling type thing.
yeah,
But yeah, we kind of miss our pop stars in a way, or our rock stars who were like aloof, and as you were talking about a time when, like, you didn't get near anybody that was like
yeah.
famous,
I
and that
think,
was
you know, before the only way to actually see these people, aside from, you know, whether you had like a magazine with them in, was just through live gigs. You
yeah,
know, you had to be able to do it live, and you had to go and see someone live, or go out into a record store and buy a physical copy of vinyl or CD or whatever to experience that. And I think that that's something that's kind of missed now, and I think that's why we're seeing, you know, an increase in, you know, vinyl sales, for instance. Obviously, you know, I think last year was one of the highest selling years for vinyl since a long time.
it's brilliant.
And you know, we're seeing, you know, I think that physical coming back is really important.
Yeah, well, I think people are tangible. They like tactile things in their hands. And I think we all want to kind of get back to that. We all want to sort of feel like we're feeding into something real again, which is really good. Your music, because there's elements of rock in there, and there's elements of electronic music in there, and then there's the kind of the effects and all of that sort of side of things as well. Where do you start in terms of the writing? Is it is it quite stripped back when you first start writing, or do you have an idea that you're going straight in with all of that kind of, or you have an idea of all of those layers before you start?
Sorry, I didn't get any of that. It completely broke up.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry, I thought I was talking an alien language. There we go. Right, what I was saying was your music has, at times there's kind of the rock element of it, and then there's electronic element to it, and then there's quite a lot of layers to it, etc. So when you start to write, where's the starting point for you? I mean, do you have those layers in your head, or?
Yes, yes. So, I mean, I think the thing is about my music is that it's genre fluid. I take inspiration from so many different places, not just from one particular place. And I feel that my music and my sound is constantly progressing. You know, I don't like to be pigeonholed in one genre. I think that it's important now that, you know, I think music has changed. I think that genre has changed. I think that more and more people are crossing the kind of genre boundaries, and I think that that's really, really a great thing. But in terms of my kind of creative process, I always start with the lyrics, which I think is quite an unusual way because I know that most people generally start with the music. But I always just start the way that I always have done, which is on my electric guitar, writing my lyrics, which come to me in bits, almost like a poem. And yeah, I mean, I do always have an overall vision for the sound. I always know that I want, say, violins in it, and that I want it to eventually come out like this. And, you know, the end product never sounds like the beginning of the track, but I always know, you know, what I want the end result to be.
So you're quite a visionary, really. You say you're quite a visionary person, full stop, or not? You went, don't know. Maybe
Well,
I'm just faking it.
Well, I think the thing is like as an artist now you have to have a very very strong creative vision, and I think you have to have a very very strong sense of yourself. Um, I mean, I think that that's always been the case, but I think, you know, now you have to you have to know exactly what you want out of your music, and
Yeah,
I think that you have to feel that your music is speaking to, you know, because the thing is obviously music has changed and the way that we consume music has changed, as I've said. So I just want my music to be accessible to everybody, which obviously it is now through platforms like Spotify and through editorial playlists. And I hope that everyone can relate to my music in one way or another.
with all of those different influences going in, you must, or you would need to spend quite a lot of time listening to music as well. Do you feel you get enough time to listen to the kind of music that you want to listen to, or the spread of music that you want to listen to?
Yeah, I mean, I listen to music all the time, like literally all the time. I constantly have that thing coming up on my phone. It's like you have exceeded your limit for how
Yeah.
loud you're listening to music.
Does it annoy you
um,
though? Are you the kind of person? I want to know this. Are you the kind of person that gets a little bit annoyed by the fact that because you clearly like lots of different types of music and being inspired by lots of different types of music, do you get kind of annoyed by the fact that you just haven't got the time to listen to enough of it in a way? That
yeah, I mean, I think there's so much music out there now that it's very, very hard to find people. And you know, I really like to listen to all of the editorial playlists. I think that that's a great way to find new artists. And you know, I'm always trying to listen to new music and to new sound. As I've said, I listen to all different kinds of genres from all different kinds of decades. I've literally read like every autobiography under the sun, from like Chrissy Hines autobiography to like books about Manchester and Peter Hook, and you know, just span the decades of music and really tried to explore like what they did to succeed and what they did to create their own scene.
right?
um
Oh my goodness!
so
Do you know what? You're a fellow soul, right? Because that's the only type of book I read. Right?
really,
That's the only type of book I read. And I go to like business network meetings during the week, and they're all there with like their, oh, have you read like this book on, you know, motivation of this, or how to succeed in business doing this? And I'm like, no, you want to put those books down and you want to actually read autobiographies by musicians. You'll learn much more about life and
yeah.
business than anything else, because they're full of great tips, aren't they, as well, in just in terms of how to
Mhm.
succeed at stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I love reading about how artists before did it. It really fascinates me. And yeah, so I, as I said, like back to your original question, in terms of music, I do consume music all day long. Probably not as much as I would like to, but you know, I love drawing inspiration from everywhere, from stuff in the past, but also from more modern artists. Like I absolutely love like Billie Eilish, I love Grimes, I love Ash Nicole, I love all of these artists that I do feel have really pushed forward the musical genre recently as well.
When you get into a new artist or you find a new artist, and if you hear something quite different, do you get quite into it, or do you sort of then research who's behind it as well, maybe like producer wise or whatever? Are you creating a little wish
Yes.
list of who I
Yes,
might be able to get?
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, a great example of that right now is I absolutely love Ray's new album.
Oh, and it's
She
amazing.
just it's honestly amazing. I remember when the first single dropped, Hard Out Here, and I was just blown away by the production and the lyrics and the kind of filmic nature of it. So you know, I know that Mike Sabbath produced the whole album, and he's a producer that I would absolutely love to work with in the future for sure.
There we go. Well, we will tag Mike into this so that, you know, because you never know what might happen, right? You never know what might happen. In terms of what you're kind of working on at the moment, or going forward at the moment, is there anything that you can give us an idea in terms of sound that you're kind of working on sound wise? And actually, when you said earlier, nothing's kind of out of bounds for you. Is there anything that's out of bounds for you musically? I mean, you know, are we not going to hear like musical theatre from you, or opera or country? I don't know. Is there anything where you would go, I just don't think that's me?
I'm not sure. I mean, I think anything is possible. I wouldn't rule out any genre. I think right now with the next single, with my single "Enemies with Benefits," this for me, I really see as a transition record. It's very, 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 very different from "Lovesick," which I released in May with. I collaborated with Omen 13 on that track, which was just amazing, and I think it's the rock rap hybrid that I've always dreamed of creating. And you know, for that record, we were inspired by bands like Bring Me the Horizon and Linkin Park, and you know, all these kind of artists that kind of have really pushed the genre of rock forward specifically. However, with this record, Enemies with Benefits, I really see it as kind of a transition record for me. I do see it as kind of like, I suppose, like a villain era record, and it's much more of a kind of alt pop hybrid. You know, I see it more in the vein of kind of like a Billie Eilish record. And I'm trying to think of who else inspired it. Just artists like that, really, where I'm, you know, kind of transitioning more into a pop, alt pop space, kind of dark pop. And I think moving forwards, you will probably see more records from me that are kind of in this dark pop, Grimes, Billie
Is
Eilish
part
kind
of that
space.
is part of that shift because you perhaps see yourself, or you have envisioned how you could potentially do that live? Is part of that kind of shift? You know, you've got a want to like bring a particular energy or something live to something, and therefore you want to move in a way that you can actually bring that live.
Yeah, I think obviously currently my live show is that it's just me on stage. And I play the guitar on stage as well, because that's something that I really want to be able to do, and still want to be able to do, is kind of empower and encourage the next generation of girl guitarists. And you know, I have had people coming to me like asking for advice about how I first started playing the guitar, and you know, what they can do to you know, really study the electric guitar as well.
Yep.
But I mean, in terms of my live show moving forward, I think that it will be hopefully just bigger,
Yeah.
basically.
I was just going to say,
And
but you might want to like have the odd dance routine, or you might want to pop out of something, and you know.
I think, you know, in terms of my show, I think really, I mean, somebody who I think is an incredible frontwoman live, and somebody that I really look up to in terms of her stage show specifically, is Miley Cyrus. I absolutely love her performance. I remember seeing her perform at Glastonbury a few years back, and she is just incredible live. Honestly, like, she's just the perfect rock pop hybrid. You know, her performance has elements of rock in there, but she's still, you know, got that pop as well. And I remember she really like heavied up her records with the band, and it
Yeah.
was just amazing to see.
You want
So
to do 10,000 steps within the first hour. You don't
yeah,
want to be rooted
yeah,
to the
and a couple
microphone.
of guitar backbends as well. When I played Download Festival in June, which was crazy by the way. Like it was like 100,000 people all trying to go into Donington Park all at once. It was so chaotic. I was the first person to play Download, like the first artist on the first day. So you could technically say that I opened the 20th anniversary of Download.
You should have had a
But
T-shirt made saying that, I think.
I know. But you
I
know, when I
opened
was playing
Donington.
Download, you know, I really wanted to show that a girl can play guitar too. So I went up on stage and I played my guitars and I did a back bend, which was quite a feat for me. I was quite bruised afterwards.
Oh, were
But
you?
yeah. So I just want to be able to encourage the next generation of girl performers.
And you mentioned that. Is there anybody that you've seen that hasn't made it yet, but you've been watching that you'd quite like to do something with?
That hasn't made it yet. So you mean
Yeah, that hasn't made it yet. So an up and coming artist that perhaps you've spotted and go, right, actually, I'd love to give them a chance, or I'd love to, perhaps do a little. I'd love to work with them in some way in order to elevate their career.
That's a good question. I mean, I suppose artists that haven't necessarily made it yet, but that are kind of in the same scene of me that have been really supportive. A great example of that is Kid Brunswick. He produced Lovesick for me, and I mean, honestly, he's so talented. His music is very genre fluid and so unique to him. And I loved working with him, so I would definitely love to collaborate with him again for sure. I think that he deserves all the success.
There you go. It's always one, isn't there? There's these unsung heroes that sometimes just need that little break, etc. But thanks for name checking, because it's always good, and then people can go and look them up. That's the whole point of all of this. Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? The big dream.
The big dream, hopefully supporting either Bring Me the Horizon or Billie Eilish, but I feel like that's quite a feat to say. I mean, hopefully, I don't know, hopefully on a luxury yacht.
Brilliant. Oh dear. What would you call your yacht? That's the important thing.
What would I call my yacht?
Yeah, your yacht's got to have a name, haven't they? I mean, if you're going to have a
Obviously.
luxury.
I feel like the weird thing is I don't think you're allowed to pick the name of your yacht. I feel like if you buy a yacht, like it comes with a name.
Oh, I'm sure you can change it though. I'm sure you can christen it. Yeah. I mean, you're spending that kind of money,
I feel like I should name it after a rock star. Like, I don't know, maybe I'd call my yacht like, I don't know, I'll have to think on that. I haven't thought
call it
of
Miley.
Yet.
Yeah, call it Miley.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what I'd call it.
I'll tell you what, it depends where you have it moored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
So you could have it and have it moored in Cyprus, and then it could be called Miley Cyprus, and that would be quite cool.
That's good. Yeah, I think I don't know, it would be nice to have like a play on words, like a musical pun that somehow incorporates the ocean as well, or maybe just the name of like a song, like, I don't know. I mean, something simple like Somewhere Beyond the Sea, but I feel like that's a bit obvious.
What a great name! What an absolutely great name! What do you want to see your legacy as being?
I think I want my legacy to be that I encouraged more girls to pick up the electric guitar, and that I encouraged more girls just in general to start creating music and to feel like my shows are a space that they can come and just have a great time. Maybe it's their first gig, and to be able to experience that, and for me to be somebody's first gig means a lot, because I mean I've been to hundreds and hundreds of gigs now, but I remember my first ever gig was Bring Me the Horizon at the Royal Albert Hall in 2016, and that was just the most incredible show I've ever been to. And
you never forget your first big show, do you? You never do.
No, yeah, and for that to be my first gig, I think was really, really special. So I want to make sure that all my live shows are equally special, so that if it is somebody's first show, then they will remember it forever, because it was so great and a special moment for them.
That's a really great purpose that you have out there. Thank you so much for coming and talking today.
Thank you for having me.
It's been it's been a pleasure getting to know you. If people want to check out your music, where's the best place for them to go?
It's just AlienBlaze on all streaming platforms and all social media like Instagram and Twitter, but TikTok is alien.blaze.
There you go. And folks, Alien does actually talk to people as well. So, if you've got something nice to say, of course, if you're not going to say something nice, then they should completely ignore you, like any of us will. But if you're going to say something nice, I've listened to your music and I really love it, or I've been to a show and I really enjoyed it, then I'm sure she'll say hi back. Thanks so much for coming in today. When is the release date?
The release date is the 22nd of August, and I'm playing a show supporting Boy Bleach in London on the 6th of September.
Why wouldn't you go, folks? In London, 6th of September. Whereabouts in London?
It's very central London. It's at Lafayette, which is like King's Cross area.
King's Cross. There you are. Get off at King's Cross. Someone will tell you which way to go. It's past the coffee stand on the anyway. You'll find it.
It's actually right next to the station.
There you go. You see, go and see AlienBlaze live. Do download the new track when it comes in. Add it to your playlist and all of that thing, because supporting people is really important. As I say, and every single show, music does not grow on trees. So do support artists, otherwise they can't carry on doing it. You see, there you go. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us today. This has been My Music. I hope everybody's enjoyed it. If you have, please share this with other people. If you haven't enjoyed this today, tough. And this has actually then been an instructional video on how to print from Publisher, which is actually an abandoned software now. Until next time, we'll be back shortly with some more My Music. Take care of yourselves. Alien, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye for now.